Welcome to your Princess S60 or S62. This quick start guide will give you a brief overview of the functions of the yacht and show you how to power up and then shut down the vessel safely. This is the yacht's main electrical control panel for both AC and DC distribution, located on the inboard of the lower helm. The yacht's primary systems, such as lighting, navigation, and the majority of the domestic systems, are 24-volt DC, powered by the domestic battery switch. The DC voltage should be around 25 volts or above, depending on the charge state. Should the voltage drop below the required levels, an audible alarm will sound and a warning light will illuminate. The engine start batteries are operated similarly to the domestic 24-volt DC. This gauge shows the voltage available to start the engines. There is no audible alarm for the start batteries. These switchable breakers control the DC systems. Each is named accordingly. The breaker must be on for the individual system to operate. This is the freshwater gauge, which shows the percentage of water currently in the freshwater tank. Provided you have 10% water or more, you can turn the water pump on via the breaker. When the water pump is on, it will pressurize both the hot and cold water, which is indicated by the water pump running light. This light will turn off once the system is fully pressurized. Below the water pump running light are the grey water pump running lights. These indicate only when water is being discharged via the grey waste pumps. Also in this area is the holding tank status and control. To the left, the status lights indicate the approximate tank level, and there is a rocker switch for manual or automatic discharge. Please note that the seacock discharge valve needs to be manually opened for the system to function, whether in manual or automatic. The status of this valve can be seen by this light. There is also a discharge pump running light. These switches control the systems as indicated and, if the circuit is active, the indicator light will be illuminated. Panel illumination, windlass, and high load. The systems powered by this circuit are the bathing platform, garage door, roof system, and the sunshade. The passerelle is the final isolation switch. This panel also controls the vessel's AC systems, which are powered from either the onboard generator or shore power. The AC systems are electrical sockets, domestic appliances, hot water, and battery charger. To use shore power, we recommend using both 63 amp shore inlets, which are located in the transom port lockers. Please speak to your local Princess dealer to ensure the cables are sized correctly for the specification of your vessel and the marina supply. Before connecting the shore cables to the vessel, isolate the power at the dockside. Push the plug into the socket once the locator is aligned, and then twist clockwise fully until locked. Tighten the outer black ring on the shroud. Reinstate the power at the dockside. Ensure the correct polarity is shown on the panel. Should there be a fault with the polarity, the shoreline fault indicator will illuminate. This must be corrected before continuing. When the correct polarity lights are shown, turn the rotary switch to the shore position. This connects shore power to the vessel. You should see approximately 230 volts in the display, depending on the local voltage supply. This gauge is the 240 volt AC ammeter, indicating the current power draw on the vessel's systems. The switch below system voltage changes the display on the gauge between leg A, domestic appliances, and leg B, air conditioning. The status of the air conditioning circuit breakers can be seen by the illuminated lamps, located to the left of the panel. Similar to the DC breakers, there are two banks of AC breakers. Each is named accordingly. As shore power is connected, we recommend switching the battery chargers on via the breaker. This display will show the charger output. Should you see a voltage lower than 210 volts on the display, we advise using the generator instead of shore power, as this reduced voltage could damage various onboard equipment. Before starting the generator, close the generator raw water seacock and check the sea strainer is clear of debris. Then, ensure that the exhaust and seawater coolant seacocks are open, that the fuel and battery supply is on, and the daily generator checks complete. The generator has a rocker switch. Push and hold to start. The generator will go through a self-diagnostic procedure before attempting to crank, indicated by a red light next to the switch. Once the generator has started, release the button. The self-diagnosis light will disappear and the green running light will appear. Before switching to generator power, we suggest that the AC load is reduced as far as possible to avoid high inrush current and potential contactor damage. Using the selector switch, move from shore power through off to gen power. The AC displays will now show generator supply voltage along with the AC amperage. You can now reinstate the AC loads. However, loading may need to be managed dependent on the individual specification of the vessel. Turn on the engine start batteries and check that at least 24 volts is shown on the display. Open the engine raw water seacocks. Ensure the exhaust muffler drains are closed. Ensure fuel cut-off valves are fully depressed. Check there is no water build-up in the fuel bowls and drain as required. Dip and check the engine oil level and top up as required. Visually inspect the engine bay to ensure there are no loose or unsecured items. Put the ignition keys in and turn to the on position. Push and hold the start button to start each engine and accept control at the preferred station, either the lower helm, upper helm or third cockpit station. After startup, check the engine data for any anomalies and allow the engines to warm up accordingly. The engine extraction fans will start automatically after a few minutes. Check water is present in the exhaust system, port and starboard, that the bathing platform is fully raised and locked, and that the bow windlass is stowed and the chain lock is in position. Should you wish to use AC power at sea, start your generator as previously shown. Whilst the engines are running, we recommend turning the AC battery chargers off. Before disconnecting any shore cable from the vessel, isolate the power at the dockside. Once the power has been isolated, it is safe to remove the plug by unscrewing the outer securing ring, twisting the plug anti-clockwise, and then pull out. The yacht is now powered and capable of leaving its berth, but the appropriate good seamanship checks should be completed and all legal requirements adhered to prior to departure. With the vessel safely secured to the berth, move to the lower helm. Turn the ignition keys to the off position. You will note that the engine fans are running, and these will continue for a further 20 minutes. Reinstate the shoreline cables as previously described. Reduce the AC load at the panel to reduce the risk of current inrush. Using the selector switch, move from gen power through to off to shore power. Reinstate the AC load as required. After approximately 1 minute, push and hold to stop the generator. The green light will go off. When leaving a vessel for an extended period, provided the vessel is connected to a shore supply which is monitored regularly, we recommend leaving the saloon and stateroom air conditioning units in dehumidify mode, as well as leaving all cabin doors open. Domestic batteries and the battery charger should be left on, but the engine start batteries turned off. These are the steps required to get underway. Carry out pre-start engine room checks. Check fuel and water levels. Check that all exterior cushions and covers are fitted or stowed correctly. Check that all port lights, hatches and doors are secured. Check that the rib, dinghy or PWC is securely stowed. Ensure that the bathing platform is fully raised and latched. Turn on the start battery isolator. Power up the navigation equipment breakers. Start and transfer from shore support to generator where appropriate. Disconnect and stow the shore support cables. Isolate the battery charger. Start the engines and check the instrument readings. Power up the thrusters and stabilizers. And check your VHF radio. For more detailed information, please refer to the S60 S62 Systems and Maintenance video or the owners and OEM manuals that are supplied loose on board in the flight cases.